I'm so excited today on Just Too Filmy to be talking to the creator and Hatiram Chaudhary, permanent residents of Paatal Lok. Welcome to Just Too Filmy. Sorry, आपके किरदार के साथ ही आपको मैं इंट्रोड्यूस कर रही हूँ.
इससे बढ़िया कुछ हो भी नहीं सकता. कल किसी ने मुझे एक स्क्रीनशॉट भेजा किसी दोस्त ने, तो उसके नीचे किसी ने लिखा हुआ था कि if Patal Lok is that interesting, I want to apply my residence for Patal Lok.
Whether it was Tope Singh, whether it was Hathoda, you took the time to go into their backstories. You know, you almost humanized them to us.
What's the point of art if it's not going beyond the obvious, you know?
Without any spoilers, can you tell my audience one scene that you truly found Paatal Lok in the next season?
Just to fill me, just to fill me.
I remember it was a very dark time when the first season of Paatal Lok dropped. It's not like the show gave us too much hope, but I don't know why at that point it did a lot for all of us sitting at home. Season 2 drops very, very soon on Prime Video, and I'm so excited today on Just Too Filmy to be talking to the creator and Hatiram Chaudhary. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry, आपके किरदार के साथ ही आपको मैं इंट्रोड्यूस कर रही हूँ.
इससे बढ़िया कुछ हो भी नहीं सकता.
बहुत बढ़िया. Permanent residents of Paatal Lok. Welcome to Just Too Filmy.
Thank you.
ये लाइन बहुत चल गया है, आपको इस बात का, इस बात की खबर है.
I've been told.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you consider yourself permanent residents of Paatal Lok?
Oh yeah, कल किसी ने मुझे एक स्क्रीनशॉट भेजा किसी दोस्त ने, तो उसके नीचे किसी ने लिखा हुआ था कि if Patal Lok is that interesting, I want to apply my residence for Patal Lok.
It's amazing. Season 2 is coming up. I think it's absolutely amazing. I do want to ask you, what is it like when you go back to a show? I'm assuming that you love dearly or deeply. Is it fear or is it excitement? What's more?
I mean, the first thought that comes to mind is, okay, why are we doing this again? That is honestly the first thought. Is it out of greed? Greed of wanting the same appreciation? Because if that is the reason, then we are going to fall flat. And after that, then a lot of things, but that's true for writing any new story. Fear, anxiety, excitement, like going down a dark alley and not knowing what's going to come out of it. So that comes out, out of all of that. But the first thing that comes to mind is really, do we have a good reason to
Revisit.
To revisit.
To go back to Paatal Lok. I cannot, do this interview without acknowledging the fact that you have a cast on your hand. It looks like आप यही show खत्म करके आए हैं. So,
वो हाथ रखा हुआ इन्हीं का है, ये दूसरा चढ़वाया.
Let's just say it took a lot to make this show.
Oh my God, I hope you're okay.
I'm all right. Thank you.
Jaideep, मुझे आपसे पूछना है, it's one of our most loved characters. What is it for you like to go back and revisit Hatiram? And when you know that you're going to play him again, is he like an old friend to you? Because for me, I don't know how exciting it will be to meet him again.
Yeah, exactly. Because Hatiram is written with so much love now, so much detailing, so much adulation, so much admiration with the world around him. So when you visit that man again, you have to visit him with all the love and empathy you have. First of all, like mentally you have to visit him. Then the preparation starts in a sense, because of course it's been a long time. When we started, it was almost 2.5 years when we start making it again. And again, you are not in Hatiram shape, and you have to start again putting on weight and reading those lines again and again, and just to visit everything around him. So went to see him again just few times for the very minute things, not the bigger things, very minute things, like how he stands when he's not doing anything, the kind of
How he walks,
the tilt in when he's bored, there's a tilt in his neck. So very minute things, just to remind yourself that this was him and his world. And I hope I managed to continue that journey, and especially the mental space of that that man.
But I can tell you that, like, on the first day of the second season that we were shooting, it was again at the police station. And he comes out of the van onto the set in the police uniform, and both Avinash and I look at each other and like, oh man, he's back. You know, it really was that.
Yeah.
And the first shot with him, and it's almost like we picked up exactly where we left 4 years back. There was you know, I mean, there's been growth in the character, and that shows. He's older now, and you know, he has less anxiety, little more sense of defeat in him, but at a calmer level.
Wow.
You know, he's made peace with it. There's an
Acceptance.
acceptance. There is an acceptance in him this time round. You know, but
Look at both of you saying acceptance together. Oh my God, you really discussed this.
yeah, no, we didn't really, but we felt it. You know, we really felt it. You know.
And Bhai is talking about anxiety. There is no anxiety in him. I could not sleep that night because it was first day and we were starting from the police station. The call time was somewhere around 7:30 to reach at location, that get ready. There's no makeup, nothing. You just put on your costume and you're ready. I was so anxious. So, I don't know what you say. So, I could not sleep that night. Almost 1.5 hour max. And I reached at the location at 6:30. There was no one. When wale abhi when laga rahe hain, and the production guys were there. Mukund sir, hamare production designer, he was there. He was settling up the things of police station, and I went to the cabin of Hatiram, sat on the chair and slept there for almost an hour. Then people came, bhai, let's get ready.
Wow.
And that 1 hour sleep was amazing.
Yeah, because you woke up as Hatiram. Like
Maybe.
in a weird way. Like
Maybe,
in a
but
weird
I was
way.
so terrified and anxious that night that, you know, the first word comes out to your mouth now. It should look like, oh, this is Hatiram.
क्या बात, बिल्कुल.
जैसे नाटकों में होता है ना, मंच पे बड़ी जिम्मेदारी मानी जाती है कि जो एक्टर मंच पे पर्दा खुलने के बाद पहली लाइन बोलेगा ना, उसके ऊपर बहुत जिम्मेदारी होती है.
बिल्कुल.
बिकॉज वहां से नाटक का एक टोन सेट होता है ये कहाँ जाने वाला है. तो आई फेल्ट दैट काइंड ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दैट डे, दैट इट्स मी हु इज गोना बी द फर्स्ट सीन एंड इट्स गोना Hathiram is गोना से समथिंग. It should come out in the same manner it was 4 years back, 3 years back, whatever.
Wow. I'm so excited. I mean, I'm just a fan. So let me start off by saying that if you didn't know already, this show did so much for us because the writing of the show never took sides. And the reason for that is whether it was Tope Singh, whether it was Hathoda, you took the time to go into their backstories. You know, you almost humanized them to us. And suddenly we saw कि भाई इसके पास भी चारा नहीं था. So the fact that it is a comment on the system is really important. Was that important for you?
It was important to go beyond the obvious. I think both the first and the second season, and I think that is something that what's the point of art if it's not going beyond the obvious? You know, that it really is the sort of driving factor in everything that I try to do. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you fail, but the intention is always that okay, you know, when we first encounter someone, and you know, someone who is harsh or someone who is not like one of us, our first instinct, you know, you villainize the other, right? That is the first instinct as an individual, the fear of the unknown. But what if I told you a little bit about him? What if I told you where he came from? What if I told you what his story is like? What day he is having? You're just seeing him on the road having a spat with someone, but did you know that just this morning, you know, maybe his son died, and he's coming right off the burial, and you know, you happen to honk at him and he got angry. And so, you know, it really is that to look beyond the obvious and to really have that empathy about life and about the world around us. So Patal Lok really came from that idea of wanting to talk about that empathy and wanting to, which is Hatiram's connection with the dog at the end. It was that, and the philosophy right at the end of the first season, Sakal Hans Mein Ram Biraj, was that, like, you could encounter God in any form and you wouldn't even know because you didn't have the empathy to look beyond the obvious. So yeah, it was a deliberate effort.
ये आपने भी WhatsApp पे ही पढ़ा था. I'm sorry, I can just quote these lines to you. It's your show, you did this, it's not my fault, okay? I looked at the trailer and of course we're excited, but what I saw in the comments was there is a huge love for the setting of Paatal Lok season 2. You chose to take this to a place that, let's be honest, has not gotten its time in the sun in this country. And I'm not saying in art, I'm saying in every form. Why was that important for you? And how does that impact an actor to go to a setting that you probably had the opportunity to go because of a show or a film? You've already been that side of the country, thanks to a Janeja, I'm assuming, even though they may be different states. But geography is what is the impact on the acting? I would love to know after you answer.
So, I mean, for me, taking the story to Nagaland was a very personal reason. Because I grew up in the Northeast, and I grew up with a strong connection there. I still have family there, friends there. I was in Assam though, but we traveled, and seen that world up close. Have had friends from all regions of the Northeast, all states of the Northeast, and like you said, it has never really been represented. And forget about that. Like, I was shocked to know that when I first, when we wrote this in Nagaland, and we took it around, like the script, everyone told us, and the people over there in Nagaland, we got to know that we are the first ever film crew ever to have come to Nagaland to shoot. Nothing has ever been shot there. No film, no TV show, no series, nothing. And it was shocking, right? Because it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place, and not just physically, but also with so much of a rich culture and so much of a, complex history and so much of, there is this beauty in the rugged landscape of Nagaland, and that also translates into the people. There's so much pride that they have in being who they are, and so for me it was just like, we just did the right thing, because that story needed to be told. Having said that, it was also very important to not have the backdrop as exotica.
Absolutely.
And it was not that a cop from Delhi is going there and he's looking at these people who don't look like him and this land that doesn't look like where he grew up in, and he kind of wings his way through it. No, it's not that. It's not going to be that at all. It is the story, as much a story of those people and as much a story of those characters that we are going to encounter there as it is of Hatiram. They have their own journeys, they have their own arcs, and all of that. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've been able to how we've been able to represent the state and the people and the culture in this show in the second season. I think that for me is the
It's the reason
Yeah.
to do it in the
Yeah.
first place. Oh, thank you. How does it impact an actor?
As Bhai said, it's very beautifully, culturally amazing people. They feel so proud to be Nagas and belonging to Nagaland, and you should see how they describe their past and their culture. Even if they're talking about their mirchis, talking about the pickles and everything, they're so proud of it. And we were I was very excited to be in that space as an actor, because when Hatiram is in Chitrakoot, it's still very familiar playground to play with the people, because the language is there, the culture is there, the culture also. Hatiram being Hanumanji's biggest worshipper, he knows everything around Chitrakoot, and so the power dynamics are very different.
Yes.
But when you know that your power is almost negligible, in this space.
Yes.
And it is already a very dark space for you as a character. Then you start thinking how you're going to be in that space, how you're going to tackle those difficulties, how you're going to handle those people,
Yeah.
but still, maintaining Hatiram into it.
Yeah.
That was one thing which was very interesting to get into their journey and seeking out the truth. But very interestingly, when I was reading this, there was some point of time I used to think, hey, why I'm reading these characters? I don't know them. Hatiram does not know them at all. Most of them, he never talks to them. He's just listening their names, hearing their names, कि वो वहाँ से है, वो वहाँ से है, and that. He's more interested in the plot,
Yeah.
in the truth behind the old drama, the action. But at some point of time, he has to get into their life. Otherwise, there is no point, there is no way to seek out the truth. So that change, when I was starting reading it, I was like, oh, this is the time when he has to,
Get in.
break all the barriers.
And get in.
And now there is no coming back. There is no going back from here, because either you have to find this, and your reason is so strong to find this. Otherwise, there is no point. So that phase was very interesting.
Yeah, that's what fascinates me the most about season 2.
Yeah.
Is क्योंकि अब हम दोस्त हैं, हम ऑडियंस और हाथीराम, और हम आपके साथ चलेंगे.
जी.
और क्योंकि आपके साथ हम भी एक ऐसी जगह देखेंगे और उसके challenges महसूस करेंगे.
बिल्कुल.
I think it will be worth our while to revisit season 1 and specifically the track of the father and son. I don't see the son in season 2. You don't have to confirm or deny. You won't.
He is there.
Oh, thank God.
He's there. Although he has moved out. Out of home, and he's studying. So you'll see less of him, but he's there.
He's there. There are so many moments in that relationship between the father and son. When they're in the rickshaw, when you have to give galis and he has to almost say, "Kaan band kar," to Gul coming outside and slapping you, to finding the gun, to finding respect, to taking blame at the police station. I mean, it's just in my head, right? I don't even have to rewatch it. I know this by sequence. What was the most special scene from that track for the two of you to write and build? And if you can tell us, and we'll come to the next one after that. So, from this track, what do you think was your most special moment?
As far as I remember, I used to say the थप्पड़ से थप्पड़ तक.
हाँ.
घर से थप्पड़ मार के निकलता है
हाँ जी.
और वापस आते ही थप्पड़ खाता है.
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल.
But in that meantime, he has done something which has changed some scenarios in his life, personally, and the relationship with the people around him, even with Ansari also. Ansari has never seen him like that.
Yeah.
He's also shocked कि चौधरी साहब को क्या हो गया. And for the son, it was like, what the hell? ये बाप अभी तक कहाँ था? And I remember this saying to Sudip bhai, because of course it was written there, everything. But I said कि मैं यहाँ कुछ नहीं हिंदी बोलने वाला हूँ. जो जितना हरियाणवी निकलेगा उतना निकलेगा. And he said, जो आपको करना है करो. मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. मुझे बस ये प्रेमाइज समझ में आ जाना चाहिए. And I'm so amazed that we're shooting that scene when he went to Anil bhai's house and he beats them up and say that dialogue, तेरा फूफा पहले तो suspended डांडा है. There were some lines, there were some scenes which was just happened in the moment, and he's not from Haryana, but he could relate. Like, there is the only one man who was smiling on it because he knew what is going on. Rest of the people are like, क्या हुआ, क्या बोला, क्या हुआ, क्या चल रहा है. But there was crowd, Gurgaon की crowd. They were listening to all those. They were laughing कि यहाँ कुछ अलग ही चल रहा है. But वो बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग सीन है. एक्चुअली वहाँ से हथीराम अपने एक नए रूप में आता है.
बिल्कुल.
उसको लगता है कि तुम भाड़ में जाओ, अब मैं अपने हिसाब से ये सब हैंडल करता हूँ. काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है उसी.
I would say the same. That sequence was lovely to write. It was lovely to shoot. It was lovely to edit. The sequence was quite special. In fact, I remember when we were discussing the plot points and Hatiram slaps Renu, and there was an uproar in the writers' room. We tend to be very
Sanctimonious.
You're very sanctimonious about what characters do and how can he,
Yeah.
being the hero, how can he do that? And
I was sanctimonious on my couch, gentlemen.
yeah, you know, and I understand that because you know, I mean, domestic violence is not to be taken lightly at all, and it was pretty obvious that for me it was pretty obvious that this was the first time ever that Hatiram had raised his hand, and in my head I already knew that वो भी हरियाणा से ही है ना, ये आएगा वापस, ये पिटने वाला है, which once when I shared that and shared with them, then they were at ease. They were like,
That's why the payoff was so
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be the
Yeah.
payoff. We're always running short on time, and I want to make it easy for my friends. But I do want to ask you, without any spoilers, can you tell my audience one scene that you truly found Patal Lok in the next season? Truly, one scene that we will look out for now. And we'll be like, kya ye wo scene hai? You can give me a clue about that scene. You can either tell me the setting, you can tell me the episode, and you can tell me why. But don't tell me spoilers.
Oh, it's very difficult to. I'm telling you, the day you will watch it, you will understand what I'm saying. It's so difficult to tell you कि मुझे वो scene इसलिए पसंद है because it's so. Oh. But I would say towards the end of the show, there is this one sequence, which I feel was so beautifully written. Of course, there are so many scenes I could talk about, but I might say something which will be a spoiler. So I don't want to go there because it's so personal to me.
No spoilers.
But towards the end of the show, there's this entire sequence where I was so happy to, while I was reading it, and when that chapter starts, I was so happy that, wow, there is this Hatiram who never drops anything in between. He has to find the truth. The pure investigating officer inside Hatiram, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए उसको सच जानना है एक बार और, कुछ भी अनटर्न नहीं रह सकता, कोई पत्थर ऐसा एक बार पलट के उसको अगर उसके नीचे सच है तो उसको एक बार जरूर पलटना है उसको, चाहे फिर वो किसी भी मेंटल सिचुएशन में हो.
क्या बात है.
I love that entire sequence. Except there are so many things.
Correct.
I can say every episode.
I think you've given us enough. And as I always say, it's very little time, but I'm very grateful for even the little time that we get. Thank you so much for giving us this show and giving us a reason to look forward to this year, which is 2025. Can't be a better start to the year. So I wish you luck and I'll see you next time.
thank you, Rohini, and I hope you enjoyed the second season as much as you did the first one.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Just do